This is SGS, and we're here to discuss the sport development project we have in Nigeria, we have running, and also we're here to educate people on few things we observe that may be hindering grassroots growth within space of sports. That's why we have important people here today to discuss with us and help us in in bringing some myth into into end some myth about some certain things. So today I have few people with us. I have Mr. Moyo from Newcastle. I have my Oga Edafe. He's here with us. He's a FIFA ambassador when it comes to safeguarding and all that. And we have Chioma, who is a sports educator. And to start with, I just want to do a brief introduction about SGS. SGS is a sports agency where we focus more on grassroots. And when we mean grassroots, it's not just about football alone, but we're looking at different aspects holistically in developing and helping them grow. Okay, so that is why, yeah, we are here today. So with me, I have few persons that will be coming up and to discuss with us. And the first person that will be talking to us today would be Chioma. Chioma will be discussing or will talking to us about education in sports. But before we go, I'd like to introduce our guest speakers on stage today. They will do a brief introduction of themselves, and from there we pick it up. Okay. And if you can hear us, you can drop message at the message side. For those that are participating, you can drop your comment that you're here, or you can hear us. If there's any glitch, you can let us know from the comment section. And if you have any question, also you can drop it there. And yeah, that is it. So I will be bringing the speakers on stage. Mr. Edafe is on stage with us, Choma is on stage with us, and Coach Moyo is on stage with us. Coach Mo, you there?
I'm indeed. I'm here.
Okay, so just a brief introduction from Coach Mo down to ladies first. Let's honor Choma. Wonderful lady. So Choma, just a brief introduction before we go. Please.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Mr. Dafe. Good afternoon, Coach Mo. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for having me here. My name is Chioma Onwuzurumba. So, in the midst of everything I do in the grassroots, I like to say that I'm a football educator. Work for Slum to Stardom is a player development organization here in the grassroots too. So we host tournaments, work on tournaments, we speak to players. We have a but not just that. What else do I have to say? So I also teach children. I don't know if I should add this. I worked in early years for 5 years anyway. So I have a diploma in early years and childcare. So that's like a little brief. A little brief.
Okay, thank you, Choma. Coach Mo, I would like you to just do a brief introduction before we proceed.
No problem. So my name is Moyo. I'm a football coach. Although I have experience in multi-sports through working in youth clubs and working in schools, my current role is an academy coach with Newcastle under Nines. Before that, I've worked at Millwall Football Club, Fulham Football Club, and I worked at Man United's Foundation. I have a huge passion for developing young people, not just on the sports field, but all round, making them all round better people. So full holistic development. And yeah, I look forward to chatting with you guys through what we do and how best to utilize the resources at our disposal.
Thank you very much, Coach. And finally, to our guy at the top, Mr. Adafe, just a brief introduction for those that are not aware of who we have here today.
When it got to my turn, I became the Oga at the top.
Yeah, I remember that now.
My name is Idafi Matthew Esiogene. I'm the CEO and co-founder of GPF Media Limited. GPF Media Limited is the owners of Elevated TV and radio. So if you're on the social space, across YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, you obviously would see it if you like sports. And we cover sports from grassroots up to if they are playing, if sports is in the moon or in Mars or Jupiter, we cover it as best as we can. In my former life, I used to work on the radio station. I was 13 years there, the station called Bila FM. And part of that former life, I used to work with Al Jazeera as well. And then in my former life, I used to play professional football. I played for Sharks of Port Harcourt. Signed up for Raja Casablanca, didn't play for them because 3 weeks after signing for them, I was being transferred to play in Sweden for Osgod. But in between, before that life, there was a life where I was taken by fake agents and abandoned in Cape Verde for 11 months of my life. I survived it, and I'm here. It's not cancer, but I'm a survivor of fake football agents. I've also benefited from good football agents. So, on that FIFA ambassadorship, and my mission with my business with Mission 89, I'm an ambassador, an advocate against fake agents, and an educator for footballers and their parents, guardians, on things to watch out for. When it comes to spotting the right agent that is about to recruit your ward or your player. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we'll be going into the first speaker now. So we'll be going into the program for now. I would have to Coach Moyo and Mr. Dapo from stage. Chioma will be going in next. And Chioma would be discussing with us. 1 minute, please. On Chioma, you ready?
Oh, yes, I am. Can you hear
Oh,
me?
yes, I can hear you. And I believe they can hear you also. So Chioma will be under the topic which goes by education as a vital resources in football and the role of parents in talent development as an educator should be handling this. So here is a slide, and yeah, Chema, it's up to you now. I will be leaving the stage for you to do your stuff. Thank you, and
All
you have
right.
30 minutes to do everything here. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So I'm not going to rush anyone, but I'm just quickly going to touch on this is my notes actually. When he said his slide, maybe some people were expecting like an 11, note slide or something. It's just one note. That's because I know that everybody understands education in a certain way. So first of all, I think I prepared an icebreaker. I would always like to ask the players, and when you hear education, what do you think? So if we have people who are already here watching or listening, or any of the speakers, you can just give me one word. It could be, let's say, two words. When you hear education, what do you think? So for me, when I think about education, I think about street. So it means street for me. And then I could actually do two words. So let me talk about streets and smart. So I've written it down here. So I don't have much to say because this is the life we live every day in the grassroots. And I always like to tell people that the grassroots is the hub. It's the farm. You start farming these talents from the age of sometimes 8 or 10. And when you talk to them about education, the first thing they think about is, oh, I have to go to school. Oh, I see developments. Thank you so much. And secondly, they say, oh, now I have to be in the classroom. Thirdly, some of them might have, places that they are thinking. But because being an educator myself, one of the things that I do is time. So you don't get every my classroom can be behind my it can be in a football field, which is what I do now because I love education so much. I found a way to marry education and sports. But for me, for now it's football. So that's where I focus. So if you look at my notes, you would see that first of all, I have a picture of boys playing in the streets. That's because that's the first thing I remember. I was born in the police barracks in Enugu, so if you want to talk about football, this is my first picture. Why do I have this picture embedded in my mind? Because that's what I remember. It's a football field. It's bare grounds, that there are no turfs, but these boys are trying to kick the ball around. So fundamentally, every footballer, of course, he already knows what the object, the ball is. They already know some of them are just born to know how to kick it around without even getting some technical trainings and everything done, in the classroom with the coaches and the boards and everything. But why I use this is because there's a lot that happened for me in this space. So yes, I remember. But why I chose the word street smart for me is because as a footballer, you might have gone to primary school and couldn't continue with your secondary school or tertiary education, but education is very important. Education is what you need to develop yourself, is what you need to go ahead in what you want to become. Some of them think, oh, you know what, education has to be just throw me in a classroom and I would learn. What I say to the owners is, I don't know, because these are true life stories. I will not be saying names anyway. I don't know why your footballer gets hurt and I'm telling him that he needs to get a first aid and he doesn't understand what I'm saying. So that's the first thing for me. That was my first problem in the grassroots, okay? Yes, I know sometimes, they like to make fun of the fact that they don't like plenty grammar. That's what they say. Because generally, I think most businesses, especially in football, I'm so sorry, but I want to be corrected if I'm wrong. Some people down here, their first focus when they start an academy is to make money. They want to make money off these boys. They want to ship them off, not in a bad way. Of course, when you spend so much money on someone who's your player, you want to ship him off to a better club, make money off him. But these days, I know what I'm saying. I am not very impressed by some footballers that I meet in the grassroots, sorry, because of course they can play ball. But then when you start like, I need to know what is going on in here. What's happening here? Is the only thing you know is how to kick this ball around. I tell some of them, I'm like, I am not impressed with just your legs on the ball. You need to be a person. There are questions you need to start asking. I asked one of them, I'm like, oh, fine, I see you have moved from this grassroots. Now, this is my second point for education in football. I said, oh, you've moved to this club from here to here. I asked him, I said, are they taking care of you? He said, yes. I said, I did not ask you if they are giving you food. Was there something, did you have any conversation with your former club before you came to the next one? Can I see a paper? I'm not an agent. I don't have a license. I may not even have a business asking you these questions, but because I've worked with you for 4 years, can I see a paper? How did you go from here, A to B? And the guy said, I don't understand what you're saying. So that's my second problem that I have. And then the third problem, because I don't want us to stay here, because there are just too much to say on football education. You can say a lot from now until tomorrow. I've seen that people just we do slides, we talk a lot about it, but the problem is the execution. So 3, a player goes down after playing 30 minutes of a game. He goes down and his eyes are turning. And I was confused on that day anyway, because it wasn't what I prepared to do. And he had about 10 other players around him. Guess what? They play for the same club, but they didn't know what to do. The guy's eyes were turning, and like, what can I do? What is even the problem? And I checked his pulse. They couldn't check the pulse of the guy. They don't even know how to check the pulse of the guy. They don't understand. First aid. That's the first thing you give to people. That you have to give people this education. And you don't need to discuss it in a classroom or when you're having an integrated science class. It's something these guys should have access to. Even when they're playing or washing their shoes, they need to know how to do first aid. These boys didn't know what to do. His pulse was faint, but guess what? Low sugar. He was hungry. He came to play football for 30 minutes and he didn't even nobody told him he could drop a cube of sugar in his mouth. Nobody told him he could actually eat a banana. He doesn't know this. I know I may be sounding like, very out of there, but this is real life. This guy was passing out, and the only thing I could think of was I already had a plate of Indomie I wanted to eat, and his mouth, he was clenching his teeth. So I had to take my finger and force the egg down his throat before he came back. And his teammates were there. My fourth example because there's no point talking too much. My fourth example is a player, he plays a certain position, a goalkeeper. So he had a sprain after a game. And one of his TMs was talking to him, oh, you know, you're walking a certain way. He said, oh, don't bother. I'll just go to this. He called a man's name and said, I'll just go to him and he will just give me that injection he used to give him. And he gave him that injection. What injection? I sat this young man down. What injection do they give to you? He said, I don't know the name. He said, but when they give it to me, the pain goes. I said, the pain goes until when? He says, oh, maybe 2 days or 3 days. I'm like, do you even understand that as a footballer, you should not be taking anything inside your body? Do you even understand that if anything that has steroids goes inside of you and these people need to move you from point A to point B, there's a problem. So these are my 4 points why I think education is a resource. In the grassroots, I've had conversations with people because we've done slides. In Slum to Stardom, we try to do education for them. We invite ex-players who have played the game, who have had experiences, just like Mr. Edefe mentioned. They took him somewhere and left him. He was left. They abandoned him. We spoke to an ex-player who said they took him to a country from Jos, took him somewhere. He was supposed to sign a contract and the contract was not in English. And he did not even know that as a person, as a human being, he has the right to say, please, sir, can you translate? Translate this thing to a place where I can read. You know, and that was how they left him there. And guess what? It was horrible for him. And let me go back to what I was saying about some of the owners. I try to have conversations with them. I'm like, okay, fine. You know what? Let's do 60-second skills for a grassroots footballer. I've done it before for a club. It's a grassroots club. They are called Tough Arena Football Club. They're here in Abuja. I've done it for them before. And it's very simple. You call someone who teaches them first aid and CPR. CPR. Some of them cannot do it. And I know that we've had a record of people who have passed playing football because they lack CPR knowledge. And then they will teach them financial literacy. I'm not talking something very big or out of. Yes, people are doing it bigger now. You have to call in all these fintech guys and they will do some classes for your footballers. But let's even start from piggy banking. These guys don't understand 1 and A. They don't. And these are people that tomorrow they will sign big contracts and it will not end up well for them. And the third thing we did for them was give them soft skills. I noticed that some grassroots footballers do not have soft skills. And I'm so sorry. I will apologize before I say this. It's not everybody that will play football. It's not everybody that jumps into an academy, runs around the football field or plays the game for you. Everybody does not end up in football. There are people who will not play that game that they love, but soft skills will help you. You can become a footballer in physiotherapy. You can become a footballer in sports management. You can become anything in football you want. I mean, look at the likes of our players right now. They are getting their UEFA B licenses. They are doing great things. You have people who are brand representatives. They are doing so much outside football, but every boy you talk to now, his mind is on, it's either we play this football or nothing. These are the reasons why I think that education is very important in football. Sometimes the problems we face is when you go with your presentation to these grassroots clubs. Let me even be saying grassroots clubs because some of them are no longer grassroots clubs. Because I tell them, you can be a grassroots club and in 2 years you realize that you can't run your club with a grassroots mentality. You become bigger and better. You start building from the grassroots. I can mention some of them that play in the Abuja Elite League like Sporting Supreme. These guys they have perfected on every front. HB, Debbie, and Youth, Melentariki, these guys have perfected. They have perfected. They've built on that platform. Where would we be we're lagging. These guys are building on that platform to get better. So when you start having conversations with them, they'll tell you, hey, Chioma, this thing you're saying is good though, but someone literally told me this. You want to make these boys too wise. I don't even know. Until today, I don't know what that means. And for the life of me, I know I did not like it. Because I cannot play, I cannot kick a ball around. Believe me, I don't know how to kick a ball around. But I know, okay, here, if you like, go to any level you want. Something must give. You must embarrass your village people because of the soft skills you lack. So every day, every time, because I live it, is my real life situation. Abuja Elite League will soon start their playoffs. And when clubs come for their playoffs, we tell them, oh, see, in this private league we play, oh, you must come for your soft skills class. Some of them will be like, what do you mean? Is it that place people come to speak plenty grammar? I'm like, it's not about grammar. If you want to be a part of this movement, you need to understand that coming into this place, there are some behaviors I don't want you to exhibit. Do you know that some clubs have first aid boxes that do not have penicillin inside? Footballers. They have first aid boxes that don't even have the content of what you need inside it. It cannot save anybody's life. Forget it. Nothing will happen for the footballer. I have met footballers at the first glance. Me, I know that this person, they fit sign you, they can sign you, but it stops at a particular place because you lack the discipline, you lack the self-awareness you need as a person. I am sorry, everybody on earth has a complex. You can quote me on that. But that is not the weakness you need to bother yourself about. I think it's the strength. It's the strength that you put on top of this so-called weakness that matters. As a footballer, discipline is key. It's even discipline that helps you to wake up. There are some of them you tell them training, meet me at 6 p.m. Some coaches are here, they know I'm not telling a lie. They will meet you at 6:30 p.m. If me, I'm in your club, I will give you starts rounding off because I think I've said a lot. I would say that education is very important. We can't say this enough. All of us are witnesses, and we've seen that football, not even just football, sport has gone to meet entertainment. They have married. Sport has met everything, even religion. You people know our footballers. They like their God, they like their religion. They have married. Sports needs to meet education for there to be a perfect marriage. Because if sports doesn't meet education for a perfect marriage, I don't think we're going anywhere. And because I live in the grassroots at the moment, I think that is the missing link. And once we get it, I tell some of them, don't bother. If you're thinking of giving me money, maybe you're thinking I'll use it to buy new wig. Don't give it to me. But let me help you and bring somebody that will do it. Because these boys, because a part of me knows what they are going through. So if you're a club owner or you're a footballer or you're a stakeholder or you just love the sport, you love the culture, because football is a culture. I think it's time we started spreading the good news. Football education is not just about training all our coaches, sending them there. These boys, they need to be in classes for digital marketing. They need to be in classes they need to be branding, whatever you have. Whatever you have. Rangers at the moment, they're doing some soft skills thing. They're training people. I would always use them as a pointer. In the NPFL, I think they are building something and I love it. They're doing something. Yes, and they're trying to make it work. Everybody is a part of whatever we're building on right now. So I'm just saying, I'm going to end here. Thank you so much for listening to me. But my bullet point today is if we're not ready to marry education and football, then I don't see what we're doing. But if we're ready, I'm available to help. Thank you so much. Thank you for listening to me.